Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into the high-octane world of virtual motorsports.
Specifically, a really recent event in the Australian XGN Assetto Corsa Racing League. We've got all the data here.
Exactly. Race results, lap stats, season standings, and our mission is to, well, cut through all those numbers.
That's right. We want to pull out the key insights, give you a really clear picture of driver performance, the race dynamics.
And how, every single lap fits into the bigger picture. It gets pretty complex.
It really does. You'll see.
So we're focusing on race 1 of season 57, round 6. Happened just today, August 5th, 2025.
On the Barcelona track, a classic, challenging circuit.
And they were running the Tatuus F3 cars. Those things are incredibly precise, demanding little machines.
Definitely. Makes every split-second decision absolutely critical.
Okay, so let's set the scene. What were the conditions like for this race?
Well, they were pretty demanding, actually. Ambient temperature was warm, 30 degrees Celsius.
And the track?
Track temp was up at 40 degrees, which, over 9 laps really impacts tire grip, car handling, everything.
40 degrees is blistering, and I see there was wind too.
Yeah, not insignificant. 22 kilometers per hour coming from direction 206. So, bit of a crosswind on certain parts of the track.
Right. On a track like Barcelona with those fast sweepers, that's something drivers definitely have to account for, constantly adjusting.
For sure. Now, the first thing that jumps out from the results is Rob 2020.
Ah, yes, the winner.
Not just the winner. He took pole position too. Set the pace right from the start.
Dominant performance then.
Pretty much. Led 7 out of the 9 laps. Really commanded the race.
And his pace? What was his best lap?
He clocked a 1.40.355. That was on lap 7.
Wow, a 1.40.3? That's seriously quick around virtual Barcelona in these cars.
Yeah.
And getting it on lap 7? That shows good tire management, holding that pace late.
Exactly. Shows real focus too. Now let's look at the other top guys. Joe finished second.
How close was he?
Pretty close, actually. Just 1.379 seconds behind Rob 2020 at the flag. And interestingly, Joe did lead for 2 laps.
Oh, okay. So he challenged Rob early on then.
Seems like it. But what's maybe more remarkable about Joe's race is his consistency. The data flagged him as the most consistent driver.
What does that mean in terms of numbers?
Yes, get this. 68% of his laps were within 0.53 seconds of his average lap time.
That's incredibly tight. That's not just speed, that's minimizing mistakes, managing the car perfectly lap after lap.
Precisely. And his best lap, a 1.40.739, actually came on the very last lap, pushing right to the end while maintaining that consistency.
Paid off for P2. Okay, who was third?
Third place was Freezer, finished about 15.5 seconds back from Rob 2020.
So a bit further back, but still on the podium.
Right. And Freezer had a really interesting race, climbed up the order quite a bit, and the data marked him as the hunted.
The hunted, meaning someone was right on his tail.
Yeah. Spent most of the race with someone breathing down his neck. The average gap to the car behind was just 0.79 seconds. Intense pressure.
Wow. And his best lap?
A 1.41.220 on lap 8. Still putting in decent times under that pressure.
And who was doing the hunting? Who finished fourth?
That would be Chris Ruffalo. And talk about close. He finished just 0.14 seconds behind Freezer.
1/10 of a second. Okay, so it makes perfect sense then.
Exactly. Chris Ruffalo was identified as the hunter. He spent most of his race chasing, with that average gap to Freezer being, well, tiny, under a second.
That must have been an incredible battle to watch, a real test match for third place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Chris Ruffalo's best lap was a very respectable 1.4.928. Back on lap 6, shows he had the pace to push.
Okay, so that's the top 4 covered. What about the rest of the finishers? Wally in 5th.
Wally came home 5th, about 4.6 seconds behind Chris, put at a best lap of 1.41.262 on lap 8. Solid run.
And 6th was Brad Heddick.
Yep, Brad finished just under 2 seconds behind Wally. His best was a 1.41.076, actually on the final lap, lap 9.
Okay, now things get a bit more eventful further down. I see mentions of contacts.
Cooper finished 7th. His best lap was a 1.41.458. And yeah, he had 2 contacts during the race.
Which could mean anything from a slight tap to a bigger incident, right?
Exactly. Definitely indicates some close action or maybe a mistake.
Yeah.
Then you have Lawlery in 8th.
And he had 5 contacts. Wow.
Yeah, 5. The most of anyone. Suggests a very busy and probably quite challenging race for him. Best lap, a 1.42.986.
Quite a bit off the lead pace then.
Yeah.
And similar stories for 9th and 10th.
Pretty much. Mazrota in 9th had 4 contacts, best lap 1.43.153. Colehide in 10th had 2 contacts, best lap 1.43.962. Lots of battling in the mid-pack, it seems.
It really paints a picture of different races happening within the same event. Then we have Old Jock in 11th. He was the loneliest driver.
Yeah, quite the contrast, isn't it? The data shows he spent most of the race really far from other cars. Average smallest gap was a huge 13 seconds.
13 seconds. So he was just out there running his own race, basically.
Seems like it. Though he did have one contact at some point. His best lap was a 1.46.328.
And then the complete opposite. Big Red 7 in 12th was the busiest.
Exactly. Polar opposite. Big Red 7 spent the most time with cars close by, both in front and behind. The average total gap was just over 4 seconds.
So constantly in traffic, managing cars all around him.
Must have been relentless. His best lap was a 1.43.215. And unfortunately, we had one DNF. Riri only completed one lap.
Tough break for Riri. Okay, so that's the race itself. How did this shake up the overall season standings? Because a single race doesn't tell the whole story.
Not at all. And this is where it gets really interesting, despite Rob 2020 winning this race quite dominantly.
He's not leading the championship.
Nope. Chris Ruffalo, who finished 4th here, our hunter, he's actually leading the overall individual standings. Got 161 points.
Wow. So that consistency, even finishing 4th here, keeps him on top.
It really underscores that point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Championship success is often about consistently scoring well, not just grabbing the occasional big win.
And Joe, our most consistent driver from this race, where is he?
He's sitting comfortably in 2nd overall with 138 points. Again, reinforcing that steady performance pays off over the season. Cooper's in 3rd with 108 points.
So where does our race winner, Rob 2020, fit into the season picture then?
Currently, Rob 2020 is 6th overall with 80 points.
6th. Okay. So a great win today, but he needs more results like that, or maybe more consistent high finishes to challenge for the title.
Precisely. It's about the long game.
Did this race cause any major shifts in the standings further down?
Oh yeah, definitely. Freezer, our hunted driver who finished 3rd, he made a massive jump, up 4 positions to 12th overall.
4 spots. That's significant, especially considering the pressure he was under.
Absolutely. Shows he perhaps thrives under that pressure, or at least handled it well enough to capitalize. He's now tied with Old Jock and Cernaps a lot on 16 points.
And Old Jock, the loneliest driver, he moved up too.
Yep, Old Jock gained 1 position as well. Interesting contrast there.
But some people must have dropped down.
Naturally. Fuzzy Mozzie, Mesrota, Ash, and May each slipped 1 place in the standings after this round.
So lots of movement. And this league, XGN, it's been around a while, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, it has deep roots. The archives go back to 2014.
10 years plus. That's impressive. Shows a really dedicated competitive community.
Definitely. Lots of history there, lots of close battles over the years, I'm sure.
So wrapping this up, what are the big takeaways from this deep dive into one race?
Well, I think it really shows how a single virtual race is this incredibly complex mix of things. You've got the raw speed, like Rob 2020 showed.
But then you have the crucial consistency, like
Right.
Joe demonstrated.
Exactly. And then there's that whole layer of strategic interaction, the close quarters stuff. Freezer being hunted, Chris Ruffalo being the hunter.
Right. And how someone like Chris Ruffalo can finish 4th, but still lead the championship because of that season-long performance, it's fascinating.
It really is. Different skills come into the fore.
So it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Thinking about this race and maybe competition in general, what's the ultimate key to success?
Is it that single blistering lap? That raw pace?
Or is it the relentless consistency lap after lap after lap?
Or maybe it's mastering those dynamics of pressure, knowing how to hunt effectively or how to defend when you're the one being hunted.
And you have to wonder, what lessons can we take from these incredibly detailed virtual battles and maybe apply them to, real-world competition? Something to think about.